The Calgary Connective Tissue Disease Clinic actually began as part of the adult congenital heart disease, and it's only in its latter history that we've broken apart. But that clinic was started purely with industry money at a time that new initiatives in healthcare were not being funded by the government. And we had a 2-year grant from private industry to establish the clinic. At the end of 2 years, we were so successful, and we'd filled a need that was apparently previously not perceived, but now was hard to sweep under the carpet, that at that point the university took on the Adult Congenital Heart Disease Clinic under its wings, and we have now become part of the University of Calgary medical program. But had it not been for funding in the first place, we wouldn't have started. The problem with funding research in areas that are obscure, like Marfan syndrome, is that many people are not aware what it is, what the implications are, and who's affected. So it's always harder to raise funds for those people. But I think it's extremely important that they realize that with Marfan syndrome, it's a disease that people didn't bring upon themselves. It's not from smoking too much or eating too much or not exercising. It's a genetic disorder. The other thing is that we think, with the gain in knowledge that we've had over the past 5 years, that there is the potential to very importantly impact these people's lives. Let them live an essentially normal life, but we're not there yet in our knowledge, and we need the research to bring us to that point. The other thing is, because it is an obscure group of people, it means there aren't that many people in any one center that's involved, and that brings on the need for large trials that involve multiple centers, and thereby cost becomes a major issue and fundraising becomes more difficult.
One of the key and most serious problems that the association faces daily is the funding. The funding for running the organization, and more so the funding for research and spreading the awareness. It is difficult for us to attract the type of funding, corporate and otherwise, that other organizations enjoy. And yet, our problems are equally severe, and the need is the same as for diabetes or cancer organization.
To this day, my son, 15 years later, doesn't have a definitive diagnosis. In an emergency situation anywhere in the world, if he's not wearing an identity bracelet, they wouldn't know what to do with him. What are his chances?